Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, East Africa. Good morning, the rest of the world. How are you? And we are glad to be here again with our Saturday 8 p.m. Webinars with Mr. Hamza Junju, who is an expert and a certified sports administrator by the International Olympics Committee, uh, throwing light on talent, throwing light on professionalism. And for the past 2 weeks, we have been looking at how to develop professionalism, and uh, we are focusing on sports personality, how to build a professional sports personality. They've been wonderful webinars, and if you have not watched yet, please go back and watch them, episode 1 and episode 2. It will make a lot of sense. Okay. Now, today we shall be looking at the final episode of this training, this webinar with Mr. Hamza, and it is about economic development. But before that, let us welcome Mr. Hamza Junju. Welcome, sir.
I'm glad to be back here again as we keep on engaging, understanding each other, learning a few things on how to make sportsmen professional. As we said earlier, who is a professional sports person? This is a person who does sport for money or to earn a living. He does whatever he's doing to earn money. And this series were all about developing a sports person to a stage where he or she can now earn money. And this episode, we are focusing majorly on team sports, footballers, rugby players, basketball players, because their components majorly look at people who do sport that majorly involves other people. So it is not by coincidence that we are ending with the economic part. Because for starters, one has the talent. The talent must be technically, which we discussed first. And technically, we are looking at majorly all aspects of sport for a player on a pitch, involving expert coaches, mentors, the guidance they give. We looked at age brackets, what you must know at which age. Now, after developing technically, we assume this player lives in a society. That's why we looked at the social aspects, the values you must have as a person or as a player. Now, today we are looking at the economic part. We assume you've developed technically, you've developed socially. Now, this is the part you were all dreaming to achieve. Now we look at the money. Remember, nowadays, sport is a business, and the player is the product we are selling. So, there are aspects that we must look at so that this player really earns what he deserves to earn, and all other people he works with. Because nowadays we see sportsmen turning into brands, turning into companies that employ more over 10,000 people. So we are saying this product is now too delicate. What?
Hello. We are sorry for that, and he will come back. Sorry for that disruption. Connection, I think he's being disturbed by connection, but he's going to get back. As we wait for him, he was still talking about how a person can grow their professionalism, but most importantly, how to grow the brand. So at whatever you do, you can be a brand. Okay. For those who are sports people, you can be a brand. For those who are actors, for those who are artists, it is about growing your brand. It is one thing to know what to do technically, like we looked at that part in the first episode. It is another thing to know how to handle yourself socially, social development, like we covered. Now, today, it is about the brand, and it is very important. You can be very good technically, you can be the best footballer out there, you can be the best actor out there, you can be the best at whatever you do, but if you do not know how to become an entrepreneur, how to turn what you have into a brand, into something that can earn you money, then you will not still be successful. So in this generation, it turns out to be like, in order for you to be successful, you need to learn to acquire some entrepreneurial skills. That is very important. And this explains why many people, the land people, are not very rich often. Okay, in our community, in our society as East Africa, you all know that it is not the one who has many books, okay, that becomes very successful, or that becomes very rich, if we interpret success in terms of material things. But we see that there are these people who are not so knowledgeable, but they know how to brand, how to market themselves, how to make money out of whatever they have and turn it into some income and turn it into a business. And that is very important. So I think this is where Mr. Hamza was still stressing before he went off. And actually, I'm looking at he's coming back so soon. Uh, So that is it. I'm trying to get back Mr. Hamza on board so that you can all interact. We had lost you, Mr. Hamza. Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm back now. Yes, I'm back now.
Our viewers,
Hello?
can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing now. I'm
Okay,
hearing.
when you went off, I was still explaining to our viewers how important it is to create a brand and how important it is to acquire some entrepreneurial skills in order to be successful. So it is not just enough to know what to do to be highly skilled. It is not enough to be very, very socially developed, but it is just as equally important for someone to know how to sell themselves, how to do self-marketing, how exactly to earn money from the brand they are creating. Okay, and that is where we lost you. But now, since you're back, you can please continue.
Yes. Yes. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Hamza, I can hear you. You can please
Hello.
continue.
Okay, today's discussion, I don't know if you're hearing, about the context of developing a professional player. And all we need to know as we're going is that the young boy, any sports person, has economic value all the way. We want an adult. And the two things we need to look at, that the economic interests of the pro athlete must be protected. Who protects? Remember, player can be talented before even 18 years. And normally we've seen avenues in which this person has got interests. So we're saying, before this person is yet an adult, all his economic interests must be protected by the parents or guardians. What does it mean? That parents should neglect their talented young ones. They must stand in there for this person is 18 and protect economic interests. Then it is also that parent guardians should work to invest into the player development at those stages. What does this mean? you realize that son is talented, as a parent, as a guardian, be ready to invest in him to fully develop talent that will economic interest that will bring in money. So it takes us to a discussion of development. It should be important that a person must be developed to appreciate
Mr. Hamza. Mr. Hamza.
Yes.
The connection is really poor. We cannot hear you well. I don't know what we're going to do.
Are you hearing me now?
Hello?
Hello?
Mr. Hamza, can you hear me?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, please. It seems you cannot hear me, but...
Hello? Hello?
All right. Sorry for that. Sorry about that. Walaikum salam. Joelia, walaikum salam. Thanks for watching. Zulaika, we're going to miss you today. Good evening. You're busy. Sorry. Walaikum salam, Sister Mona. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we have a challenge. You're right. We have a challenge today in the connection, our guest's connection, but we shall try to get back to him or to have him back in order to continue. But the point here is in today's session, I was still explaining before he came back that we are having many people in our communities who are very educated, but they are not necessarily very rich. Okay, going to school to study something, becoming skilled at something does not necessarily mean that you're going to start earning money right away. Okay, you need to also study something. You need to work on the economic development, and this is what our guest is trying to stress today to explain. Although we are having that really challenge, and it is really challenging, but we shall push through. The point is, you need to learn how to make business out of whatever you're doing. Okay, in our world as coaches, it is something we study how to be a coach. We study how we have very brilliant coaches. They are very highly skilled. They are very stable, but the challenge is that they cannot make any more money than they are already receiving. Why? Because learning a skill is something, being experienced in is something, but on the other hand, we need, as much as we focus on the skill, to also learn the skill to make money and make ourselves available so that we can attract a lot of money. And that is a skill. You need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to close. You need to learn quite a number of things. So for the professional people, you need to understand that this is yet another thing, another level you need to ascend to if you're to be successful. So in summary, because I think I'm receiving a message from our guest that he might not be able to come back now. So we shall bring him another day, maybe tomorrow. We're going to be communicating and see how we can bring him back. He is very sorry because the connection let us all down. But we shall interact with you. What do you think that someone should do, okay, to become self-employed, to be to know how to self-market, to know how to brand themselves? Okay, let me see what. Okay, Sister Mona, what I sent an article on last time's topic. Hope you saw it. Yeah, do you want to say something about it? Self-employment, Sister Mona? If you wish to join, I can give you the invitation and you can join in and share that wonderful knowledge with everyone else. And our question is, and I want to read from you, dear viewers, what do you think? Okay, just a minute. Let me check with our guest. Mr. Hamza.
I don't know, network is turning to be a problem.
Yeah, that's right. But we are resilient. We shall try harder
Persistent.
so that yeah, we need to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're ready to continue.
So I was still continuing with the discussion, and we are saying a pro athlete economically must appreciate that his expertise in playing a sport, in playing any sport, in other words, he must believe that he's a sports person. So he should do from the following: finding employment opportunities. Why? If you believe you're a footballer, you're a rugby player, and you look for a secondary job, you are losing focus. Don't look for another job. Focus on your talent. Two, negotiating commercial contracts. Never at one time be the player and you want to negotiate your own contract. Why? In most cases, we don't know the value we have. So can we have professional people negotiate our contracts? If we are below 18, can we have a guardian along during such discussions? What does it mean? Always you must have professional people to deal with your contractual obligations, not you yourselves attaining. Why? You may undervalue yourself, then your economic interests are not well represented. Three, managing your own monies or investments. Can you employ financial advisors, investment advisors? This helps you to concentrate on playing your sport as these other professionals manage your value. Than in a case where you are the player, you are the one involved in managing your money, you are the one involved in managing your investments. You lose the
Yeah.
focus. That's why you have very many Africans playing to play in the European world. Because in Africa, we are a little bit selfish via money. Instead of employing
Yeah.
professionals, we do everything ourselves. That's why they have shorter careers. But for
Maybe
whites,
because trusted people are no longer available. I mean,
then
we no longer trust anyone.
go for professional companies, sign contracts, give them what to do. Because later we
Mhm.
know you can sue them and they can sue you. In other words, let's go professional in whatever we do. Another important aspect, a professional athlete must be developed to understand that he earns money by playing the sport. And after earning your money, there are other beneficiaries or service providers you must have along as your team or as a brand. In other words, you can't do everything alone. So you must know that the money you earn, you are also supposed to employ other people. Because automatically, for you are concentrating on playing, but there are other aspects of yourself that you must develop, like investing in housing, investing in shares. So you must have along other people you employ so that you concentrate and but you must know there are people who also benefit from you. Of recent, those who follow international football, you've heard of people called agents, although nowadays you call them intermediaries. These are paid by the player, but it's not the agent to pay you. This person provides a service, and you, the player, must know from the money you earn, you must pay for it. You've seen international athletes employing nutritionists. This person brings his expertise in managing your nutrition. So you must know, you must pay back. So in other words, the professional player economically must know that he must employ service providers. All these help to boost his performance, hence gaining more economic value. For instance,
Mm-hmm.
examples of these service providers are estate managers. You are earning a lot of money and you need to invest. Can you employ an estate manager? This will run or manage your investment in other estates. It can be building houses, rentals, building anything, hotels all over. This person will be responsible to always do that donkey work, manage and present to you all your assets as per estates. So in other words, these are the kind of beneficiaries we are talking of. Because we know majority of people we believe we must invest in shelter. Another important thing we need to focus, especially economically, are the basic needs. What are some of these basic needs? Any player must know that before he becomes a profession, or especially in the process of development, he must access basic needs: food and water, shelter, clothing, equipment,
Mm.
transport. The moment these are lacking, this person won't concentrate. We looked at concentration, especially under
Yeah.
technical and social still.
Yes. Yeah.
So if the player is below 18, can the parent provide all these? Can the guardian provide all these? Or in other words, can you join an academy where all these are available? Can you join a team where all these are available? So that you put in your efforts to performing to your best, have economic value that later will return into money because we are playing for money. Now, as we protect the economic interests of a player, do you know that there are things that a professional player must avoid? Because all of these affect his performance, hindering his economic value growth. What are some of these things? The first one is tricky: creating a family at an early age. When you're still in the phase of developing economically, you may not need dependents. This has been adopted all over Europe. Remember, we've said you are signing your contract at 18. Now you have almost 10 dependents. Automatically, your mind starts to be affected. So we are saying if you have the right mentors, the right career coaches, they will be guiding you on when you can have a wife and the children. We saw it. I'll give an example in Uganda. Inzikuru at one time had just won the first gold for the country at an international level. The following year, she got pregnant. Yet
Mm,
the
I
next
remember that.
phase of the next phase was in the next 2 years. Now, can the 2 years help her recover as fast as possible? So the world was still expecting to see more of this great athlete, but family, she failed to manage family conditions. So can we start
Yeah.
and look at this? Then two, staying on your own. In the early stages of developing as a professional player who will later bring in money, it's risky to stay alone. If you're not yet married, can you stay with your parents? It is risky to stay alone. Why? You want to manage yourself better, especially where the social aspect. So can you avoid renting, stay with, work hard, earn money, then set off for your family, build your own house? Engaging in illicit or illegal sexual activities, drugs, and crime. We are saying, why are we highlighting this? Because these affect your economic value. The more you do them, your performance goes down, then your economic value goes down. Engaging in
Mm-hmm.
any
And
business
even trust.
activity. Mm.
And even
Engaging in
trust.
any
I'm
business,
sorry to chip in.
yeah.
I will have to chip in on this. I mean, these illegal activities, illegitimate sex, drugs, crime, these affect the most important thing of any professional person, and that is trust. So
Yeah.
everyone will not trust you, and I mean, business is built on trust. That is the number one rule for business. We trust you, so we can do that. So when you start playing around with the most valuable, I mean, thing you have, you definitely will affect your economic growth. Thank you very much. I just wanted to make that clear.
Then the last one is also tricky, especially in a continent like ours and in a region like ours. Engaging in any business activity to earn. When you're a professional athlete, a footballer, a boxer, don't set up a shop and you want to run it. Because when you set up a shop, you are the shopkeeper, you have to train, you have to play, you are losing concentration. So we are saying don't set it up, concentrate. You already have your talent, it has been developed, it is your job. Why are we highlighting all of these? Because the above activities create economic pressure. Am I clear?
Yes, you're clear.
Am I clear? We are
Yes, we
saying,
can hear you.
because if you engage in all the above, they create economic pressure to earn. And when you create your own pressure to earn some money, it distracts players' development. So the more you engage in all these, your development level retards a bit. What does it imply? You will not earn what you deserve. That's all I can say at the moment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamza. Though I want us to talk more about the last point because you know our community, people
Yeah.
still believe that, and maybe that is the nature of the whole economic, I mean, economy currently. So having someone focus on just the talent and growing it without having some side business seems to be hard. How should someone who considers uh, their professionalism as a sports personality avoid this? Are there any other ways they can earn a living, a way that does not take their attention
So
and focus?
we talked about it in the beginning. Sit down, make research, read. Employ service providers. Can you employ people to manage your brand as a player? To look out for companies that can sign you off? Can you look for business partners, financial managers? For instance, in Europe, it started, I think, like 10 years ago. In England, we used to have very good footballers like Gascoigne, earn a lot of money, misuse it, and after football, they would run bankrupt. So at a certain level, they put up mentorship programs for all professional players, whereby part of their salary was always deducted and invested in the banking sector through buying shares, bills, and bonds. So this helped players keep investing while in the phase of playing, so that after retirement, the years you spend investing in research, now you start earning after playing. Now we are saying, if you're an active player, you believe you can set up a supermarket, don't do it yourself. Get someone who understands that area better. Keep investing. They will run your business. You'll earn the money on your account. What we are desisting from is you setting up your own shop and you are the shopkeeper. You are the attendant. It distracts you. In other words, you may end up into business instead of playing a particular sport you believe in. So we are offering
Mm.
this knowledge so that the growing professionals understand it. So that when they start active playing, they know the limits. We are not deterring you from investing, but always use professional bodies to do their work as you also do your work. We shall see the benefits later. For instance, of recent, Ronaldo is setting up hotels all over the continents of the world but you will not find him at the hotel seated managing there. He's using
Mm.
other companies to run these businesses on his behalf as he keeps concentrating on what he knows best, that is playing football.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you very much. What message do you have? Because we are going to invite other our viewers to start participating and contributing. And this is a message for you, all our viewers. Please, I can see some people here. Khairat Amur, thanks for watching. Drina Nashjova, I've seen you've joined. We have Huda Swift. Nice to have you here. Members, we're going to ask you to make your contribution. But after this question, Mr. Hamza, what advice do you have for this? Because personally, I've lived in areas where there is a lot of talent. Kaboa and Eva, those who are in Uganda know these places. But now these are young men and women who cannot probably afford a professional person to handle them. They can't afford to hire an agent. Even the parent is busy looking for school fees to provide for just one, I mean, child's uh, maybe sport or sports education. So, in this case, what do we really need to do to help these people? Or what should they
Step,
do to help themselves?
you see, it depends now. There are two things in here. One, if someone is below 18, it takes us back to our first topic, discovering what you have. Do we really know what we have? Because even if we talk of education, do you know that majority talented people have attained free education from primary to university? Now,
Hmm.
how does this come in? If your child is below 18 and you see the talent, give support. The way you give support looking for school fees, in the early stages, invest the time, understand what your child is good at, or understand what you are good at. Step two, show it to people. If you are good, people will come and pick you up. In other words, good people, if you know you are good at playing, keep playing what you are good at. Someone is going to come, pick you up, you'll get free education, you'll get free boots, and these are professional people. They will come see the talent, they will know your value after a certain level of training. They will meet your parents, sign up, then you live your journey. The end will justify. Just look at a player like all of us now have money. If you read his history, he was in Senegal, concentrating on playing in the compound, on the roads. Now, because he was too good, he was seen by people who understand what we are talking about. Then two, research. Can you go and engage in competitions? Keep exposing yourself. Because
Mm.
remember, if you don't do it yourself, no one is going to do it for you. This is a world of no sympathizers. We must discover what we have and be able to sell it out. This is not all about sympathizing with the people, but committing yourself to achieving what you believe in. For parents, by the way, we are calling upon parents. For instance, in Endeavor, you've seen talented people and you've never seen their parents. So can we have parents come to the fore and understand this? That's why in Europe, they have community clubs. Parents gather up, pay up mentors to keep training the kids. Through these competitions of the community, special talents are seen. Then the clubs will come running, athletic clubs, boxing clubs, etc. They are trying to open up routes. If you keep doing what you're good at, success is at your doorstep. But you must expose yourself to the community or to the society.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe to add on what Mr. Hamza has just said, it has been wonderful. We call upon parents to really pay attention to their children. And right now, we have professional people who can help identify talent. You know, our generation is very sophisticated right now. You might not get time to really observe, or maybe you can actually lack the skill to identify your child's talent, especially for the hidden talents. because maybe for the physical talents, you can easily see that. But now, how to know your child's intellectual abilities, emotional talents, and these things really require professional people. So, what we can assure everyone that is that the God they worship is very just. He gave everyone something to work with in this life. But now most of us do not make it a point to find it. Most of us procrastinate. Most of us look at what we don't have, look at the obstacles. Now, for example, you just made a very good point, Mr. Hamza. We have these poor kids who are very talented, but they cannot show up at the football pitch to show and present what they are capable of doing. And when a child lacks that confidence, they will not succeed. We have these kids that want to show up, but the challenge is that the parent would not let them because they believe the child should be doing something better. So that is also another challenge. Now, we either focus and start, wake up and start really serving the future generation, these children, or we are not going to benefit at all. Because I think it is high time we start interpreting success in a very diverse way. This thing of only celebrating those who have got four aggregates, because the exams are PLE exams have been released, so everyone is celebrating. But there are these students who did not get a first grade or a second grade, yet they are very, very good at another. They are geniuses in another field. We did not celebrate them, and in the end it is going to frustrate even these ones we are jubilating for their success right now, because it turns out to be like in the few in later on they lose morale. They because they believe they are already successful because everyone is celebrating them. I'm not saying that we should not reward these performing kids in class, but we need to broaden our understanding just to include every kid's special talent. Now, for the talents that you cannot see, there are people like professional people like Mr. Hamza here. He can help you look at a child, assess them, and measure where they are. Sometimes, and Mr. Hamza, maybe you're going to throw more light about this. Um, when we talk about a sports personality, some people think it is, for example, just football. I mean, uh, because I wish to assume that there is, if someone is a sports person, they will do better at volleyball, they will do better at tennis, they will be better at football. We have seen people with all this. So how do we guide someone who has all of these gifts? How do we shape him or her?
I would like to. How do we what?
We are looking at
Beg your pardon.
someone
Mm.
who has a number of talents having to show up at the same time. For example, we have someone just within one talent as a sports person, as an athlete, but capable of doing quite multiple stuff. He or she can play football, netball, volleyball. You can, I mean, they are just all over. So how do we guide these people to? I mean, from how do
The,
they choose?
the multi-talented people,
Okay.
the multi-talented ones, multi-talented players.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
losing your voice, but let me try to explain.
Okay.
Now there are scenarios where a person has more than one talent. It becomes tricky. Hello,
We can hear you. We can
hello.
hear you.
You're hearing me, okay? That's a tricky question. We have now more than one talent, able to attend school, do very well at the game, play sport and the other thing is also good. This takes us back to professionalism. Let this person in the early stages participate in all these. Let this person go to school, perform well, let him play football, play boxing, play everything. Because they are phases of growth. So as a below 18 person, he can participate in all these. But at the critical age of turning into an adult, you must bring on board professional people to assess all his abilities. After assessing all his abilities, you'll find that they'll be able to select where he's good at. So working with mentors is very important, and professional people who look at someone's abilities and be able to understand them. So at a younger age, let this person be active, play everything that comes in. But at a critical time of converting into an adult, around 16 years, 18, we must have professional people that have grown with this person, that will be able to direct this person to the right way or to a talent he performs best. That's why we are still emphasizing using mentors and professionals from an early ages 6, 8, 10 is very important. It helps people to have specific direction. That's all I can say at the moment.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have contributions from our viewers. We have Huda Swift. Uh, she says my mom punished me every time because of playing football, men only. She's a girl and she was talented in football, and this became a source of punishment. What should we say about this? We have
How old
we have
is she?
we have a lot of things against a girl child in our culture. I don't know how you can address this when it comes to talent. What can we do?
No, we must address to the parents. It's important. That's why we have these kind of sessions. And what I've learned today as a person also that we need to have community engagements. Because as we
Hmm.
go down to the community, we should meet parents and guide them through. But in an
Hmm.
African country, it was all about because African wise. But now we are seeing girls, captain of under 17 player who is a girl doing very well on pitch. But it's all about working with the parents. Now we need to go down to the community, explain to parents, they will adopt to change. It was an African thing that women must not do this. But now with education and what? But with the shift, I don't know how old she is, but she can still pick up unless if she has grown to a level of not being able to compete.
Well, Huda Swift will have to tell us. I mean, how old are you? And if you think Mr. Hamza can help you get back your talent, it is never too late. I was talking to one of my students today, and he was very worried about what is going to happen, and he was losing it all. What can I do? And he was very worried about life. So I told him, and I'm going to tell everyone that really life, the way our society divides our life is unfair. So it is like there is a life we do not live and a life we live. So before 18 is another life, below 30 is another life. So when you clock 40, that is another life. But in actual sense, when you die, they will say he has lived for 50 years. They will not exclude the years you wasted. So it is about you living your life. So Bezos Swift, if you had your talent, you can choose to pursue it because it is in general your life. You choose what to do with it, but wisely. And I believe now that you still have it in you and everyone who is watching, you can always get back. It is your life. It doesn't matter who thinks what. Um, there is a comment from Drina. Drina is like a nice topic. Drina, you've come at the end of the topic. Nice topic. Nice topic. I can't get off. Thank you for being with us, my Sheikh and Mr. Hamza. Uh, Drina, you're late. This is the final episode
Thanks,
about this
opportunity.
topic. And Drina, we shall ask you. what do you think is your kid's talent? Because I know you have, I know Drina, I believe you know her to Mr. Hamza. What do you think is your kid's talent? Because by now you should have started seeing something.
I beg your
Mothers,
pardon?
fathers. I was asking Drina to tell us what she thinks is her kid's talent so far. Um, someone, Swift is 27. Swift is 27. Agamba chamuyitako. She cannot play football. Uh, but it doesn't mean that you lost all talent. You could be a very good coach. You could be something within your
Yeah,
life.
yeah. That's what I wanted to say. We need to
Mm.
get Bizu's contact, then we can meet and discuss because she can still have a lot to do. We're in an era of women sport growth. Let's link up. We talk, then we see what she can do with women in
Mhm.
soccer development. It can be all forms of sport. So I don't know if we can get her contact. I think we need to create a WhatsApp group where we interact with these people
Okay.
and be able to serve. So Bizu, I think we can, let's see how to get her contact, then we
Mm.
can follow up. She can still serve as an administrator and offer guidance to parents still, and
Yeah.
we see how we, yeah. So Bizu, I
Actually,
don't know how we shall keep in
mm,
touch, but we need you to link
we,
up.
I know she's going to reach out. We are going to reach out to her, and inshallah we shall see how to help. But now that you've talked about sports administration and everything, I think she needs to talk to you because such people are the people to work in the talent. I mean, people who had passion. Okay, these I believe would do better.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah,
we
we
have
need
someone.
ladies. We need ladies on board.
Mm. We have Zulaika. Zulaika, I even me, I loved basketball too much, but my dad could not allow me.
Because they are passionate, let them come. They undergo training and serve the sport they loved. They will serve professionally, they will earn money. Sport is not all about playing. You can be a player, you can be an administrator, you can be a coach, you can be a referee or umpire. So let's get their contacts, we link them to courses in their areas of interest, then they will serve the sport better.
Mm. Okay, there are people
Yeah.
who are just
Especially
joining
ladies,
in.
e-
Mm.
especially women. We need a
Okay,
lot of women in Ugandan sport at the moment. So let's get all their contacts, then to where their passion is. They still serve the sport in the country.
okay. Ladies, you heard that message. It is very vital, and considering that they are more than us, because we're not talking about something that is not real. We have a lot of talent and potential in the female Ugandan, a female East African, a female everywhere in the world, and I believe women should stand up. We are going to help push the women forward. They are going to help push us, but we need to work together. So this is a call from Mr. Hamza, who is someone very experienced in sports and is someone who can really help understand this. Someone is saying, me, martial arts, I'm a professional. Yeah, we have a professional martial artists, and this is wonderful, Sister Mona. I believe on the chat, there are people who really want what?
Yeah, we have
Uh,
a professional person on board, meaning we can get in touch with her and host her here to share
yeah,
her experiences to help
yeah.
others. Because she's a lady, we need to share these stories to the world.
Okay. Actually, she's offering to be a mentor for those who might want to do this. She's a trainer already.
Mm.
And Sister Mona, thank you. We're going to reach out and we're going to be in touch because you will be very vital in really helping not only the female person but also the male because you're the mothers anyway. Yeah. And she's
Yeah.
saying she has a brown belt. I don't know. I'm not so professional when it comes to this belt stuff, but I believe she has something to offer, and the wisdom itself that comes along with the sports person, the sports. I mean, the discipline and everything. I think we have a lot to share.
Yeah, we you have a lot. We need to mobilize all these people, then we push them to another level.
Okay. Mr. Hamza, we are 50 minutes into our webinar, and it has been the webinar which has marked the end of our course, 3-episode course about developing professionalism, especially for a sports personality. What would you have to say? Because I believe this is not the last time we're interacting, but about what we have covered, what
Yeah,
would be your
which
final?
yeah. Now we've looked at the development phase. In the next few sessions, we shall be discussing more. We believe now we've undergone development. Now we have the product ready on table. So we're going to be discussing other topics regarding legalities, contract signing. In other words, you're going to continue talking about sport, and especially to the benefit of a player, a club, and relating with other brands that work with the sport. We're going to keep discussing sport because talent and sport move hand in hand. And you are seeing we have people in the country willing to share. So if we keep mobilizing all this, we shall impact on the economy, we shall impact on society, we shall impact on the country where we live, and push sport to the understanding of the parent, the community. Then you'll see talents grow sporting wise as you look at other talents that come along. So it was a good session, good interaction. I think we can continue with this discussion on our page, and we see that we get all this information together as we keep working as a team. Success is on our doorstep.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Hamza. It is always nice to have you here. It is always interesting. We have to leave for now because there is a session which is waiting, and I believe our viewers should stay with us. We're going to be looking at how we happen to stand in our own way, how we block ourselves from success with Coach Ramona, and it is the next session. So, Mr. Hamza, thank you very much. Please stay with us, come again, and let us together work to develop our people to make a change. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And I believe for the followers, I
Welcome.
will not say goodbye because we're going to stay with them.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
That's all I could say. Good night.
Good night, sir.